kind of like from before, very much influenced by mostly like previous generations, whether that's like our family members or just people in our lives, or things like Guitar Hero, being a huge thing for at least for me and like people our age, where that kind of exposed the modern generation at that time to sort of not necessarily older music, but that kind of style of music. And growing up at the time that we did in like the early 2000s, where that wasn't really a mainstay in like the Billboard Hot 100 and stuff, you had people like Jay-Z and all these like pop and hip hop artists, where you would go to school one day, and I remember I was in third grade and I had like a Rush T-shirt on, and no one in my entire school, not even my teachers, knew who Rush were. So it was a very like alienating kind of time period until we got older, and I mean, can only speak for myself, and start to notice that there's a lot more people our age that really dig that kind of music. You kind of have been able to see that like the past like 5-10 years, that uprise, and modern classic rock.
Honestly, going off of what Andre said, I know that the Guitar Hero and Rock Band games, again, like, look, video games are what they are at the end of the day, but for our generation, that really was, and I know there's other ways people get into these things, but I know for myself, having parents who were older, probably the most people's parents, also my age and whatnot, those games really did kind of help a lot in introducing the younger generations to the sort of like older classic rock kind of sound, and being like, hey, there's more out there than just what's being played on the radio, or what's big on the iTunes charts or the Billboard charts and whatnot too. I know that helped me out immensely as a kid, being able to see like, oh my God, there's so much more than pop, rap, new metal, again, all the stuff that's just big at the time.
My perspective is kind of different because I didn't grow up on Guitar Hero or Rock Band. My dad is a big Bruce Springsteen fan. So that was kind of my entry point into like music. Was he I mean, he's from New Jersey, and Bruce Springsteen is literal god in New Jersey. So I grew up, basically deep diving on Springsteen, and then it was Zeppelin, and then it was Rush, and then it was Sabbath and Beatles and all those kinds of things. So I think it either comes from video games or comes from like your family. And I know, like, I mean, I can speak for all of us, even beyond like video games, that our parents definitely influence our music taste a very good bit.
Yeah, I mean, if my music influences were just based off my parents, all I'd listen to is Billy Idol, Prince, Willie Nelson.